One person alone cannot accomplish much. In our life, no one can survive independently without the help of others, so we must have a good heart, do good deeds bravely, and help each other. Humans and animals also need to help each other. This is a story of wolves and humans helping each other. Avery is a young, bright, and honest young man. He started a company at a very young age and became a millionaire. A friend of his friend invited them to dinner in a secluded restaurant and told them they would taste something they had never eaten before. Only after Avery arrived did he realize that the deliciousness the man was talking about was a wolf. His friend told everyone in Temperament that wolves usually eat people, but this time they ate the wolf. He also said that he had already wrapped up the restaurant so they could enjoy eating wolf meat. Avery saw that the wolf in the cage had been tortured to death, but there was still pride in the wolf's eyes. When the Wolf King saw Avery, it thought he was an accomplice, so it roared at him fiercely. Avery looked at its pitiful appearance and felt distressed. He thought they did nothing wrong. Why couldn't humans live in harmony with them? Thinking of this, Avery felt sad, so he told his friend not to eat the wolf. Maybe it wasn't tasty, and it might have bacteria. He said he could take them to a vegetarian restaurant and let them try delicious truffles. His friend was disdainful to hear this, and he told Avery to mind his own business. He asked if the wolf was his, and told him not to upset everyone. His friend's answer made Avery know that persuasion was useless, so he stopped talking. Although this Wolf King was fierce, because it was injured and had no attack power, it could not resist. Just as they were about to kill the Wolf King, Avery still felt stressed. So he walked over to block the Wolf King. Seeing this, his friends couldn't help but scold him, saying it was just a beast and he shouldn't have done it. But Avery didn't care what he said. At that time, the Wolf King realized that Avery was not a bad person, and looked at him pitifully, as if begging Avery to save him. Avery's friend saw that Avery insisted on standing in front of the Wolf King and wouldn't leave, so he walked over to him and pulled him aside. His friend struggled to pull him away. Avery looked at the Wolf King pleadingly. He panicked and told his friends to stop. He would buy it and tell them not to kill it. His friend stopped when he heard that and was about to pull the trigger. He thought about it and said yes to Avery and asked him the price. Avery quickly took out all his money and gave it to his friend. His friend looked at the money with a look of disgust, but seeing Avery's anxious look, he finally agreed. So he left the wolf with him and went somewhere else with the others. Avery quickly untied the rope from the Wolf King. The wolf did not reject Avery's approach. After the Wolf King regained its freedom, it limped up and circled around Avery, which surprised Avery. It actually knelt down in front of him and tried to bow down. Avery didn't expect it to be so smart. He bent down and stroked it, then looked at the wound on its calf and told it to bandage it. After the wound was bandaged, the Wolf King kept looking at Avery gratefully, and even followed Avery when he was about to leave. Wherever Avery went, it followed. Avery was relieved. However, wolves could not live with humans, and it was inevitable that bad people would want to hurt it. So, Avery took the wolf back home. Under Avery's attentive care, the wolf's body fully recovered. In order to make the wolf truly happy, Avery released it to the forest and gave it the jade pendant he wore with him. In Avery's repeated drive, the Wolf King seemed to understand something, so it stopped and watched Avery walk away slowly. When Avery could no longer be seen, it raised its head and screamed and ran towards the depths of the grassland. A previous conflict between Avery and his friends was dissolved when he took them to a new restaurant. Avery took them to an upscale vegetarian restaurant in a beautiful setting where the food was exquisite and delicious. They enjoyed it happily. Now, the prices in that restaurant were really not low. In order to save the wolf, he made a lot of effort. The world is sometimes unfair, and good people don't always get good rewards. Avery was honest and sincere. He vouched for a friend of a man, but the man absconded with the money. So Avery had to take on that debt, causing his capital chain to break and the company to fail. So Avery could only borrow money everywhere, which made him feel the indifference of humanity. Unfortunately, while Avery was driving a truck from Shanghai to Shandong, he suddenly received a call from his uncle. His uncle said that his father suddenly collapsed in the field while he was working. His neighbors and mom had taken his dad to the hospital, and his dad was in the process of being rescued. Avery was very anxious after hanging up. As he accelerated, he cried as he recalled his parents' love for him. His father suffered a cerebral hemorrhage and was rescued in the hospital all day, temporarily out of danger. Avery was off work and focused on spending time with his parents in the hospital. After more than 2 months, his dad was in a vegetative state, and Avery borrowed a lot of money to help keep his dad alive. His relatives persuaded him to give up treatment, but Avery said his father was only 60 years old and he couldn't give up. The people around felt that Avery was very filial, but they were also worried that Avery would have a hard time in the future. He could only borrow money from everywhere. Some people rejected him politely, while others not only didn't lend him money, but also mocked him indifferently, which hit him hard. Avery generously helped them when they were in trouble. Facing the pressure of the outside world and the indifference of his friends, he was frustrated and lost the will to make a comeback. One night, he chose to give up. He took a lot of medicine, but he woke up normally the next day. Turned out the medication he bought was fake, and he felt miserable and felt cheated by the world. Avery was so depressed and couldn't sleep, so he went to the wild alone to relax. He was in a trance and listless. He inadvertently fell into the trap of a hunter. He was in pain, unable to move, and fell into a coma shortly after. When he woke up, he found himself in a cave surrounded by wolves. It turned out that he was rescued by these wolves. Just when he was at a loss, the wolves parted, and a wolf came towards him. He took a closer look and realized that the wolf was the leader of the wolf pack, the Wolf King. When the Wolf King approached, he saw the jade pendant on its neck and determined that this was the wolf he rescued. At that time, Avery seemed to have seen his long-lost relatives and understood that it was the Wolf King who saved him. The Wolf King was also very excited when he saw Avery. So Avery nursed back to health in the wolf cave. The wolves went out to forage for him, and he lived a carefree life. There, his body recovered and his mood improved. When he lived with the wolves, he realized the truth of being a human being is that you can't just be weak and kind. You must be tough on bad people. Otherwise, society will lose fairness. He felt that he should learn the wild nature of wolves, not to back down in the face of difficulties, and learn the skills of surviving in harsh environments. Realizing the true meaning, Avery bid farewell to the Wolf King and the Wolf Pack. After returning home, he was no longer sad and decadent. He slowly rebuilt his career and picked up quickly. Gradually, his career was restored and surpassed as before, and he ushered in a new life. Fortunately, his life changed drastically. His father woke up suddenly, and his health slowly improved, and no further treatment was needed. His father could walk alone. After a year, he set up a company and started a transportation business. His life slowly improved. Humans and animals are both teachers and friends. From animals, human beings will learn a lot of life lessons. In people's minds, wolves are evil. Many words representing cruelty, viciousness, and danger are used to describe wolves, which shows that humans hate wolves very much. Still, when we really get to know them, we will find that wolves are actually very affectionate. They are simple and persistent and will remember their benefactors. What did you think of this story? Let us know in the comments below.